What is up, RotoGrinders? 2 hours of non-stop NBA DFS conversation starts right now, taking you all at the lock for tonight's seven-game slates. We're cutting it off, both DK and FanDuel, not including the late games. No Portland, no Charlotte, no Chicago, no Golden State, no Minnesota, no Lakers, no Kings, Pacers. That's going to be a fun one for sure. Sprint slate. It's a seven-gamer. DK and FanDuel both cooperated and said, hey, 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock, and that's that. I'm sure there's some late slates, content on the site for things of that sort. Myself and Chop, you got us for the first hour and 15 minutes. We're handing it off to TJ. TJ's Zwarych, one of the greatest DFS players in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada, and Will, the Chief, as well, joining y'all for crunch time, taking you home. It is a Tuesday. It is a television Tuesday. What's up, Chop? Happy Tuesday. How are things?
I'm glad it's TV Tuesday, not something ridiculous. So we got that going for us. I don't know, Dean. Lots of good fun stuff. Did you see the flurry of NFL activity yesterday when free agency kicked off? Just all kinds of good stuff, man.
I don't have a team. I don't have a team, so I don't get as excited about it. I mean, I've noticed some things. I probably missed some things too. But Dallas, I feel like they've been quiet. Have I missed? Has Dallas signed anybody?
No, they've been
team.
Yes, Dean. They've been very active for them in the free agency.
Okay, I missed it.
Well. So just to kind of preface it, I don't know if you remember last year at the right before the season started, Dallas had to trade Parsons to Green Bay, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And they got their 2-1s and all that stuff, Kenny Clark and all that. And the whole thing about Green Bay was, oh man, now we get to pair Micah Parsons with Rashawn Gary. And this is going to be an electric duo and all this and that, right? Well, yesterday, because of financial purposes and signing Micah to the 40+ million, Green Bay had to trade Rashawn Gary to Dallas. Can you believe it, Dean?
I missed this. Did not see this.
Yes, Rashawn Gary is now a Cowboy, thanks to in pretty large part the fact that Micah's tying up so much money they cannot afford Gary anymore. So Dallas made out like a bandit. They got Rashawn Gary, and then they signed a good safety from Arizona, Jalen Thompson. A lot of people don't know guys like that. He's a really good safety, though. Definitely a weak point of theirs last year. So they got him. Dallas is looking good. I like what Dallas did. And Philly's falling apart. Hate to say it. I don't hate to say it. The Eagles losing a lot of guys right and left, man.
They lost one of their defensive players, one of the secondary pieces, at least one, maybe two. I think
they lost several players. Off the defense, and then AJ Brown we don't know about, so it's going to be I think there's some new blood. The Giants got better. It's going to be some new blood in the NFC East next year. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, with the salary cap, it's just it's you can flip it pretty quickly in the NFL. Let us know in chat what was the biggest free agent pickup for NFL. I know down here the Dolphins are all excited about Willis. They signed him to a couple of years, and Tua now is going to get a minimum contract, I guess, with Atlanta. And I think Miami's spending like $100 million for the cap as far as their quarterback with the combination of Willis and Tua. But, yeah, the amount of cap that Tua's – I think it's a historic number. I don't remember what the number was, but I'm not a capologist. But certainly cutting Tua and what was left of his contract, just I understand why the decision had to be made. But, man, that is such a brutal hit to that franchise for a couple of years. But, all right, seven-gamer. Speaking of South Florida, not Miami. Well, it is Miami Heat. They are the team that kind of dictates the slate. The perfect storm, incredible matchup against Washington, and they're without several key pieces and potentially one more key piece. Tyler Hero is the most important player right now because he's currently questionable. If he plays, he's one of the best plays in the slate. Free flop at least. And if he doesn't play, well, then even more dominoes are going to get knocked down because Jovic is still out. Powell is still out. Now Khalil Ware is out. Wiggins is out. So, 4 regulars unavailable tonight versus Washington. So if you're running some optimal stuff, you're running some lineups pre-show, which I did, we're looking at 3, 4, 5 players on Miami hitting those lineups. A little bit more so on DK. 3 on FanDuel, 3 on FanDuel. These are the optimal lineups. 4 on FanDuel. It's the first 3 or 4. On DK, it's 5, 6, which I cannot imagine playing 6. 5, 5, and they still have 11 players. 2 players probably don't play, maybe on the fringe. They probably run a 9-man rotation with some cheapies, but yeah, that's the big news as far as the slate. There's only one game at 7:00. It's the Grizz. They're in the back half of a back-to-back, and they are getting some players back. We're anticipating them to have 11 or 12 guys, depending on. Somebody's still questionable, I believe, in the back half of a back-to-back. Other teams, by the way, back-to-back stuff. If you're concerned, Philadelphia, both those teams that are taking off on each other there, and Philly are playing the back half of a back-to-back. Brooklyn also in the back half of a back-to-back, as is. I was going to say Golden State. We don't care about Golden State, but I happen to write that down. Front end, Charlotte. Don't care about Charlotte's. Houston, your Rockets. Minnesota don't care. Sacramento don't care. Toronto. So 2 teams. Okay. I wrote this down before I officially knew when the schedule was going to be, when we're going to cut off the slate. But yeah, again, we're down to 7, 8 o'clock. That is that's the breaking point. We have to get to 20 likes. Once we get to 20 likes, we'll drop that first clue for today's Television Tuesday. If you want to win a week free of RG Premium, jump in that Discord channel, RotoGrinders.com/Discord, live stream chat channel. Be the first person to tell me what TV show I'm talking about. So hit that like button, caress it, tap it. Whatever your adjective of choice happens to be, just get that thumb up. That, by the way, that's why we have the backdrop tonight, because it's the Heat. The Heat are dictating the slate, Chop, and you know, Miami Heat legend behind me. I mean, you could tell just by the, you're pretty clear who that person is, right? It's pretty obvious who we're looking at.
Yes, that definitely looks like the one and only, the infamous Freddy Krueger from the Nightmare on Elm Street trilogy. Yeah.
It really I felt bad for Dwayne Wade, man. He's got to pretend like that's not a complete disaster. It's a nice gesture by the organization, but like, good Lord, come on. We can't do better than this. But yeah, that's shout out D Wade. 7-gamer tonight. We just had the new injury report dropping again. Most important piece is Tyler Hero. There are some other pieces out there that are lurking. Kuminga is questionable. Edgecombe is questionable, and Philly's already without a bunch of dudes. They got shellacked last night. Oubre expected to go. He barely played last night. Clayton Jr. for Memphis is questionable, so I guess Memphis could be down to they still might do some other shenanigans, like having not players active. We'll see how that goes. But at least as of right now, we're looking at 11, possibly 10. Maybe they lose one of their G League guys. We'll see. Any general thoughts as far as the 7-gamer here tonight, John?
It's a lot. It's a lot of stuff going on, Dean. A lot of moving pieces here. And we got a couple more we have to wait on. We'll see it. Hopefully we'll get it during the show, but if not, it's fine. There's just a lot. I mean, to me, it feels like there's just so much, I don't want to say value, that's a cheap word, but just so many plays that are inexpensive that you can turn to. I think a lot of them none of them stand out. I think, it's a guessing game. But with that, all those cheap players, you can front load your roster on the big guys. And so I think that's where your won and lost is finding that guy tonight that, one of the more elite players who's going to go for the slate breaking performance. And I think that'll happen. So I think that's what we're really digging for. I mean, how can you tell the difference between some of these value plays that are under 4K? There's they all look the same, but it's up top. Up top is where you're going to win it tonight.
If I sort by point per dollar on Lineup HQ on DraftKings, the first 5 players are all Miami Heat players. And 6 of the 7 are Miami Heat players. Myron Gardner. Go ahead. Yeah. What do you got?
That's projections, Dean. And some people take that as the Bible, but the projections they're just plugging in the numbers, right? The minutes and all the other stuff that goes with it. That's where you got to kind of break away from Lineup HQ and use a little bit of your own noggin on stuff like that. And I think that's where you can gain an edge in tournaments is people blindly following that as opposed to knowing that, well, you know what, maybe I should be limiting those Miami Heat people. I shouldn't have 6 in the same lineup or something. So I like that it's doing that.
6 is a no, yeah. But I think
you know what I mean. Like
yeah.
So there's the 4-man stack of a particular team. I find that super interesting when that team is down to 7 players. There's only 7. But when you said it earlier, there's still plenty of guys who can play. Kind of don't know how it's going to play out with maybe a 30-point game. Who knows? Like, we'll get to it when we get there, but I think something like that you can gain an edge in tournaments. We'll see.
Yeah, Miami's got a 127.5 team total, which I have to imagine that's got to be the highest number on the board. Atlanta pushing it at 125, so I think they're next in line. There's several bad games, too, that we'll talk about in the back end. The Hammers are not particularly appealing. And the other part of it, of course, is it's cheap players, and they're facing Washington, which speaks to the team total. But Gardner, Fontecchio's back, Yakachonis, Drew Smith, they're all in the threes on DK. Like those, I mean, one of those guys is going to get there. At least one, I think. And what if Hero doesn't play, then all of a sudden the floodgates are open? And that is the signal for our first clue. First clue for today's Television Tuesday is Mercury. Mercury is our first clue. Again, Discord channel, RotoGrinders.com. Tell me what TV show I'm talking about. We get to 40 likes, we'll get a second clue for the people. That's how it works. And we're having the likes dictate it. The Mission Impossible bootleg theme. We'll let you know. But yeah, Chop, I know you like to participate in the side column and in the Discord channel. Let me know what TV show you think we're talking about. Anything else we should mention before we dive in and do the deal game by game?
No.
All right. Any news drop as the show has progressed? I don't think so. I'm guessing not. Okay. First game we're going to talk about, again, the two teams that are in the back half of back-to-back. That's the Grizz, the Sixers. 228.5 is the total here. Memphis is a 3.5-point dog, which seems kind of low considering, how they're actively trying to take the L and they have no size. Taj, I tweeted about this earlier. The Taj Gibson thing, like, how the NBA is investigating Kawhi Leonard for his no-show. Pablo Torre is all over it. The NBA is not investigating it. They're pretending it's not happening. But Pablo Torre is talking about how, if you see the evidence, it's pretty overwhelming. Kawhi has got these no-show jobs. Is Taj showing up at least? Is he dressing in a suit? Is he in the building? Taj Gibson is still 40-year-old Taj Gibson, signed a couple weeks ago, returned to competition conditioning. Was he not in any playing shape? Is that what it was? Why did they sign Taj Gibson? Anyways, Taj Gibson's not playing basketball tonight. Neither is Scottie Pippen or John Morant or Zach Edey, Brandon Clark, KCP, and Santi Aldama. Officially, Walter Clayton Jr. is questionable. He's got an ankle. He played last night. We're getting Scottie Pippen back. We're getting Ty Jerome back, so it's going to be cluttered there in the backcourt to some degree. They'll be back to their shenanigans of, like, everybody gets 26 minutes or so. Philadelphia, Edgecombe was questionable. Didn't play last night with his lumbar. And Bill 13 still out. Maxey still has that finger, so he's unavailable. And Oubre, foul trouble and just terrible, horrific last night. And a blowout, bad combination. He's good to go with his knee. How are we feeling about Memphis and the Sixers?
For DFS purposes, this is actually a pretty great game. For real-life purposes, probably not one I'm going to sit down and enjoy too much, but I don't know. Memphis there's a lot of missing pieces there, but then again, there's a lot of, they're still divvying it up pretty good. You could definitely take some stabs on some Memphis players. There's nobody that's getting projected to be owned very high. So, yeah, Ty Jerome is fine. He's a decent player, nice little fantasy player when he gets his moment. G.G. Jackson can fill it up. Javon Small, a rookie out of Oklahoma State. He's a very accomplished offensive player, so he can definitely get it done. But nobody's projecting off the charts here. So, whatever you want to do. If you want to use one of these guys to fill in the back end of your roster after you got your 2 stars and whatever really high value plays you got that you feel good about, I don't mind all that. I'm not building around these guys. The Philly side, Dean, the Philly side. Actually, let me pause on that road. The Memphis side. Let's say Walter Clayton Jr. gets ruled out. Okay, now maybe we can manipulate some of those projections up a little bit more for Small and maybe Jerome or something like that, but we'll see how that plays out. Philly side I actually like a lot. Man, I was disappointed last night in the Quinn Grimes performance. Wasn't quite enough. It was a very mundane performance. I expected more. I expect more tonight. Super disappointed in Oubre and getting in foul trouble and getting limited to 14 minutes, but it happens. And so I'm kind of watching the Edgecombe news as like a big one. If he's out, those two guys to me would jump as two of the best plays on the slate, really. I'd go right back to those guys, so we'll sit there. But if Edgecombe plays, he becomes a really good play too. At 8K, I think he'd be the the number one guy for this team tonight. So super interested in that injury right there. But Grimes, Edgecombe, Oubre, all solidly in play, depending on what news we get on Edgecombe. The rest of it is, campaign, sure, man. If you really twisted the arm and really needed that point guard right there, whatever. The rest of it, not going Bana, not going Watford, certainly not going Drummond. And Barlow has the occasional big – didn't he put up like 90 DK points one day, like randomly? But typically I'm not a big Barlow supporter, so I'm not on any of those guys. But those top three I mentioned, Grimes, Edgecombe, Oubre, squarely in play.
You say Barlow put up 90 DK points?
Oh, it was 57 back at the beginning of February. He put up a random 57 piece. Dominic Barlow.
It was a triple-double, right? Or no, it wasn't triple-double, but yeah, he was I got it now. 26 and 16. Yeah.
Just out of nowhere, man. Just like and he stunk pretty much up until that point. But so I don't know, to say he has 57-point upside, man, you're probably stretching it, although he's done it one time, but I'm not on that play. But the Phillies missing a lot of, even if Edgecombe plays, they're missing a lot. So and it's a matchup with a garbage opponent that's not worried about winning or anything like that. So yeah, I think these guys are in play.
Well, they are worried about winning. They don't want it to happen.
not winning. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And Philly, theoretically, they can't tank. Like, it's over with. The tanking thing, you're not going to tank now, so you
can't catch up. Yeah.
Yeah, you're trying to win. So, I don't know, man.
They're stuck in the play-in nonsense or like 6, 7, somewhere in that area. Yeah. That's basically, they just kind of are where they're at. I don't dislike Bona. It seems like Bona's kind of separated himself from Drummond and just any big person against this Memphis front line. You know, we saw it last night. We talked about it last night. Claxton was good in his minutes, and Sharp was awesome. Like, and I don't even think he played a heck of a lot, but anybody who's got any sort of height and size inside against whatever Memphis is throwing out there, you know, again, they have no centers. And I joked with the Taj Gibson thing, but they probably could use Taj Gibson, at least his size, you know. Like OMP is their center, and he's 6'7", and they don't seem to care.
I actually don't hate it. I don't hate the Bona call now that I think how bad Drummond is, and they don't even want to play him anymore. The boner might be not bad.
Yeah, again, I'm telling you, watching Drummond like his last few games, it seems like he's intentionally trying to get fouls, so it's just really take him out of the game. That's just, I know that just feels that way. Like, he's been fouling a ton of late, and I just don't know. And I guess that's in part kind of tied into him getting his minutes are not there either. They've kind of fallen back, and Bona seems to have passed them by. And if we can somehow get like 28 minutes or so from Bona, don't mind it here against Memphis. Memphis, we're projecting 11 players, and we're projecting 11 players, and the most plays 26 minutes, and the least plays 17 minutes. Now, again, we certainly might lose Clayton. Now, are these guys still officially questionable? I thought they were in. Yeah, they're off the injury report, right? Yeah, Jerome off the injury report, Coward off the injury report. Yeah, okay, so they're expected to play. There could be some late shenanigans, but assuming Memphis is playing 10 or 11, there's a chance Clayton doesn't go. I just, these Memphis guys, they're not going to get enough minutes. They're priced higher than their prices keep rising. The difference between 10 and 8 is huge as far as players available. You play 8 minutes, your average is 30 minutes per player. You play 10, your average is 24. It's distinctly different. So I'm not really interested in Memphis. Long story short, I can't really get into it. It is the only 7:00 game, and I was kind of thinking about what if we don't have hero news. But I do like Philly, like you're talking about. I feel like one of these guys is going to get us home. If not Oubre, it's Edgecombe. If not Edgecombe, it's Grimes. And certainly Edgecombe is being questionable is something to monitor. We'll know that. If we don't know that, Crunch Time's going to know that. And again, I talked about liking Bona, but I feel like I'm probably going to have a piece. One of these guys on Philly because the matchup is so good, and it's only going to open up a little bit more if we happen to lose. VJ, anything else you want to say as far as the Grizz and the Sixers?
I don't think so, Dean. But I was going to ask you on your clue, Mercury. Now, are we talking Mercury Morris? I know it's not athlete Thursday,
but the Dolphin running back.
But is the clue? Is it pertaining to Mercury Morris?
I mean, how would because you're thinking Saved by the Bell. That's what you're thinking, aren't you? Zach Morris?
I'm
There's
throwing
no. I
spitball.
mean,
I'm trying to get a little bit of a clue on the clue, if you know what I mean.
that is a deep cut, by the way. I would say like I don't know, 6% of the chat is aware of Mercury Morris' existence. He was a running back for the Dolphins, I think, in the 70s. I want to say
the undefeated team.
Well, Zonka was the lead guy, right?
Zonka I think so.
Wasn't Zonka like the
Zonka
fullback?
More like a fullback, yeah.
Bobby Gomes in chat. If we can trust Bobby Gomes, he's telling us that Edgecombe is officially in. I guess we just got that news.
Okay.
Won't have a minutes limit. Okay, he'll be the primary ball handler. They're telling us. Okay, that is all right. So is there meat in that bone? He's 8K. There's meat in that bone for BJ.
Well, I don't like the way you phrased it, but yes, I still think he can overperform his salary.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, that was the 72 Dolphins. So it was the early 70s. Thank you for clarifying in chat. Yeah. Down in South Florida many years ago, he was like a drive time. Remember, like they used to have sports talk radio. I guess they still have it. So I guess that's still a thing.
They still got it.
But Mercury Morris used to have a local sports talk radio show many years ago when I was growing up as a kid. So,
when you were growing up, you ever listen to Jim Rome?
The Jungle.
Not a Jim Rome guy. They had every year the annual Smack Off. Come on, man.
I'm aware of his existence. It wasn't no besmirching. It just wasn't really for me. Have you ever seen the movie Big Fan with Patton Oswalt? It's kind of a take. You don't know the movie Big Fan?
I don't think so.
It's interesting. He's an obsessed like New York Giants fan, and he called into a talk radio show where Jim Rome was the host. Bobby says Jim Rome is too aggressive. Well, you have to have a take. You have to be. You can't just be on the fence. And
he had to get before you had likes and clicks and things like that. You had to somehow make a name for yourself back then. So he did it by being extremely controversial and I don't know if you remember.
Well, his thing was having like fans come in and have like a smack off. Like people would come.
Well,
with, like,
that was on the radio, but before that even happened, the way he got really super popular with
Jim Everett,
Chris Everett, Jim Everett. You better not call me that again. He kept calling Jim Everett Chris.
Call me Chris one more time.
Yeah, do it one more time, and then he did it again. Man, he kept pushing it till he got the table flipped on him.
That's how I learned of his existence, actually. And I'm sure a lot of people, that's how they learned about Jim Rome's existence. I can't remember Rome. He had a show on ESPN too, like a talk show. Okay. Wizards and the Heat. This is the big one. 238.5 is the total of Miami. Now they are monster favorites, 16-point favorites here. Miami, by the way, playing good against my better wishes. The Heat, I think they've won 5 in a row. They won 8 of their last 10. They're in you're not going to believe it, but they're in the mix for the Miami Heat Invitational, the playing game. They're right there. So they are massive favorites versus the Wizards as far as who's in and who's out in this one. Well, Washington is without George. Anthony Davis, of course, not playing. Trae Young not playing. Did we get one game of Trae Young? Is that all we got? One technical in one game, and that's it? Good season, Trae Young. Yeah. For Miami, Hero is officially questionable. That's the big one. Tyler Hero, he's got quadriceps, and they're sore. So we're told. Or it's because it's Washington. This is an island game, though. They're not playing tomorrow. But he's been dealing with stuff. Jovic is dealing with a back, so he's not playing basketball tonight. Davion Mitchell's officially going to go with his shoulder. But Norm Powell still out with his groin. Cannot play with his groin. Khalil Ware, he's got a shoulder. He's out. Oh, I see the name Terry Rozier. It's just tilting me because this I don't know if you saw what that was finally settled. Charlotte said, okay, yeah, we know we screwed you over. Here, take a second-round pick. It's over with now. So Charlotte knew what they were doing when they traded Terry Rozier. They knew the investigation was allegedly. Okay, Wiggins is out too. He's got 10 toes, but one, the big toe, really hurts. So he cannot play. So yeah, no Wiggins, no Ware, no Powell, no Jovic, right? So 3 regulars and 1 role player. Fontecchio's back. He's available to go. And again, we're projecting all 11 to play, but there's some hedge minutes on Keels and Golden. You're not playing those guys. Should be the 9-man rotation, but if the Hero doesn't go, that'll change things even more so. But how do you feel about Miami, assuming Hero's in?
Whew. There's a lot to unpack on the Miami side. Can we just start with Washington and say I'm not particularly interested in anybody?
Yeah,
from Washington?
done.
So
Easy.
Done deal. I mean, the Miami thing is so like multi-layered. So there's the hero aspect. If hero plays, I think he's a decent play. He's a fine play. And but he'll take a little bit of shine off of some of the others, just a little bit. But if he doesn't play, then several guys kind of jump up even more in the standing. So hero is a pretty big piece to the puzzle tonight. But in a vacuum, regardless of hero, Bam should really thrive here in this matchup. It's a great matchup for opposing anybody pretty much against Washington, but centers / power forwards, whatever, his archetype, really good. So without those competing mouths to feed in minutes, I think Bam should thrive here. I don't know if you read the survey, Dean. I don't know if you're a big survey guy, but there's only been 4 games this year where Khalil Ware sat out. And in all 4, Bam was the far and away the points leader, DFS points leader for Miami.
You were hyping up Jaquez too, if I'm not mistaken.
What's that?
Wasn't Jaquez one of your hot takes?
Yeah, we'll get to him in a minute.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Jaquez, I think just because you can, obviously 6,200, you can definitely get busy on Washington, and Jaquez will get a little bit more of that fourth quarter run if it is a big blowout. Even if it's a blowout, I think Bam still does really well because you got to get there. So Jaquez could get a little bit of fourth quarter run over Bam. I think he can thrive in this matchup too. Then you get down to your cheap guys, Gardner, Fontecchio. I'm going to throw Yakuchonis out there. Yakuchonis.
Did you like him in college? I know a lot of people said Miami.
He was the Illinois guy, wasn't he? Illinois?
I think so. Yeah, I
get those names confused because there's somebody who sounds just like him, that name. But that's the Illinois guy, I believe. And he could stuff it in college, man. He could stuff the stat sheet. So the thing about him is what stands out about him tonight is he should get some minutes regardless. And if it's a blowout, he should get all the minutes in the blowout in the fourth quarter. That could be very interesting in this matchup. So I'm very much on these Miami cheap guys. And I'm on, the Bam. I'd be careful with how I split it up. I think I don't think I would play the cheap guys with the expensive guys. I think I'd set rules in there. I'm not multi-entering. I'm just doing one lineup on each side. So I don't have to set a rule. But if I was going to set rules, I wouldn't want like Fontecchio and the Illinois kid and Gardner. I wouldn't want them paired with Bam or Hero. Maybe Jaquez with the cheap guys because he's going to get fourth quarter. I'd want guys who are going to play together just in case there was a big blowout and just in case there was no blowout. So, but I like the Miami side, several players, but I'd be limited to like three of them per lineup if I was doing that.
We are projecting Gardner to start, but only play 24 minutes. He probably starts. He probably doesn't close. If this game is close, I would guess like either Jaquez or Yakuchonis would close the game over him. Doesn't mean he can't close, but he's also one of those guys that would possibly start and close in a blowout. I said there's 11 guys. Now, this is assuming Hero's in. There's 11 assuming Hero's in. So like 6 of them aren't going to close no matter how ugly the game is. Mitchell, Hero, Bam for sure. And I was trying to figure out, I guess Golden and Keels, if it gets ugly enough, will be the moppers. And who will be joining them? Probably Yakuchonis, like you said. I think Drew Smith. I don't know about Fontecchio. Fontecchio's a maybe, but I think Gardner probably closes over Fontecchio, but I'm not certain if this game is full-on ugly. Did want to note the FDN. We do have an FDN as far as if Hero is out. The Miami stuff already looks good. But then we're going to see, let me see as far as the DK value. Bam would have almost a 50-point median projection, just a monster number because he's like the last stud standing there for calling, a stud for Miami, at least. Hero kind of a stud tonight. Fontecchio would look really, really strong. We're giving him 26 minutes, 29 DK, 28 FanDuel. You get that 3-point bonus. That's the crux of his game. Jaquez would look awesome, a 38, 37 FanDuel DK. Gardner would get a boost. All these guys would get boosts, basically. Yakuchonis would get a boost. They're all positive plays. Drew Smith's a positive play. Even Davion Mitchell is a positive play. Interesting enough, Felly Larson not getting he's for whatever reason, he's fine, but he's not getting a meaningful bump. Some people in chat were asking about Leaky Black, and we are giving him 30 minutes for Washington. He's not a good fantasy point rate player, but I guess if you're playing 30 minutes against Miami and that pace on the defense is good, but the pace we can make up for it. I guess we kind of threw Washington in the garbage can pretty quickly, and I understand why. They're getting healthier. Sarah's back. They're not going to push him, so that ruins all the center stuff. They're not pushing Koulibaly. We're giving Koulibaly 24 minutes. That's basically kind of his cap these days, it seems like. Yeah, Leaky Black if he starts, maybe, but you don't feel good about that, right? You were pretty quick to say Washington, no. Trey Johnson, he's another guy just not pushing his minutes. If you want to trying to use some reason, Chop, like they're trying to lose, but that should just take care of itself. So maybe they can play their guys a little bit longer and they still lose and they still, don't look so pathetic benching other players at 22 minutes. Maybe. I don't know. But nobody with confidence on Washington, right? And you I guess you're sticking to, and you're only making one lineup. Making one lineup, you're not playing Washington, and that's that. Yeah. Correct?
One lineup on each site and no Washington. Oh, well, I mean, I haven't made it yet, so then you never know. But I don't foresee myself playing Washington. And Mr. Irrelevant brings up a good point. We got a lot of viewers here, and we can't get to 50 likes. I need another clue so I could try to piece this thing together, guys. Come on, bump this like button up so we can get some clues going here.
Guesses coming on through. It's not Third Rock from the Sun. This is guesses in the Discord channel of Mork and Mindy. It's a good guess. Not The Flash or Paradise or Star Trek TNG. The Next Generation. The Martian, that's a movie, so it's not that. Genius. I don't know what Genius is. The Right Stuff. It's not that. It's not Mr. Robot. And people are shouting out Mercury Morris.
That was a good
I watched the first season of that show, and I tapped out. I don't know why.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of, I mean, it's good. It's definitely.
It was fine.
Yeah, it's good. I didn't mind it. It's definitely, yeah. So here's a question for you. Do we know how many likes we need to get to clue 2? It's what, 50 you said?
Well, I think we're doing, I don't know, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100.
Okay.
I think that makes sense.
So theoretically, if everybody just hit the like button right now and it just
you get all the clues.
100, you would drop all the clues at one time.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go, guys. That's all you got to do.
I guess that's how. And then you just got to have the fastest fingers because
floods the market.
I'll tell you this: if you have all 5 clues, John, if all 5 clues are in your hands, producer Steve got it on the second guess. So like it's pretty gettable if you have all 5 clues, I think. Here's clue number 2, right on cue. Is Drive. Mercury and Drive. Mercury Morris, he led a lot of drives for the Miami Dolphins. Mercury and Drive. There is clue number 2. Get in that Discord channel. Get yourself a week free of RG Premium. So if we lose Hero, are we playing 5 players for Miami? I think you can get the 5 kind of comfortably if Hero's out. If you just sort of it becomes a math problem. I think I'm open to 5 if we lose Hero.
Yeah, probably wouldn't do 5 still, even if we lost Hero, but I get it though.
Can you just rank the cheapies for Miami? We're talking about Yakachonis, Smith, Gardner, Fontecchio. You're getting your wish, John.
We're doing it. Yeah, the cheapies to me would be just based on the blowout factor, Yakachunas, number 1, Gardner 2, Fontecchio 3. That's where I'm at. If I don't believe in Davion Mitchell here, Jaquez is not cheap enough to call a cheapie. So those 3 guys, that's where I would rank them.
You do get 2 guesses, by the way. Since 2 clues just dropped, you get 2 guesses there. We got Drive and we got Comedy. So there you go. We're getting you're getting your wish there, Chop. There you go. It's not Miami Vice or Big Bang Theory or Breaking Bad or Saved by the Bell or Taxi or Car 54, Where Are You? Or BoJack Horseman. It's a fun one. All right, let's talk about the next game. It's Detroit. Detroit taking on the Nets, 216.5. There are several games on the slate that have, really, really low totals. This is the start of them. Detroit and Brooklyn, 216.5 is a total, not just a low total, but a monster favorite in Detroit. Brooklyn playing the back half of a back-to-back. The Pistons are 17, 16-point favorites, depending on where you're shopping. Detroit is also really healthy with the exception of Oscar Thompson. Oscar Thompson's dealing with that ankle. He's unavailable. Otherwise, anybody really of notes? I mean, Karis LeVert's got a wrist. He's not playing. That's not a big deal. I don't know if you saw, but Yegor Yeoman, Brooklyn sat him down for the season. That's it. Yegor Yeoman's done. No more shenanigans with him as far as resting him. On island games, he's just done for the year. They're on the back half of back-to-back. Zaire Williams at the fish, so he's not feeling well. He's not playing tonight. And Daron Sharp, who fully smashed last night in his minutes, not playing because he's got a thumb. They still have plenty of dudes, Brooklyn. They still have 14 guys or so on the roster. Kind of an ugly one here, Chop. Detroit, Brooklyn, what do you got?
Very ugly, Dean. Very ugly. Looking at the ownership projection. All right, so for Detroit, we're going to get a little bit of Cade ownership, a little bit more Jalen Duren ownership, and we're getting some Marcus Sasser ownership, which I find very interesting. I think against Brooklyn, I'm not really particularly enthused about any of those guys. Sasser would be the one I would be most enthused about, but man, he could be a really poor fantasy player if he doesn't, if his outside shot isn't falling. So I don't know that I want to go at 13 to 15%. I think I can pass on that one, especially in single lineups. So I'm not
he plays at a blowout shop?
I would imagine he does. But
we got him starting right now.
He's not really he can be a really poor fantasy per minute guy, especially when it's, you still have Cunningham and Duren out there and Tobias Harris as three lead guys you got to play alongside of. I don't know, man. It just seems like I think that's where the ownership outweighs the potential. So I think I'm out on that one. So that means I'm kind of out on Detroit there. And Brooklyn's not much better. Michael Porter Jr., it's been awesome, Dean. He's averaged about 40 DK points over his last 5 games. He's still turning out big games. He's got a near 40-point projection tonight. He's fine. Don't love the matchup, but he's played him twice this year, and he's done perfectly fine against them, so it's not that imposing. Plus, they're missing their best defender anyway. Michael Porter's fine. Claxton's fine. If I had to say who my number one guy for Brooklyn is actually probably Danny Wolf in this spot, just because I don't know. So maybe it's Danny Wolf. He's going to get a little bit of ownership, a little bit too much ownership, but I think he has the best chance to put up a decent number here for his price tag. Oh, shit, we got a winner. I didn't even get to guess today, man, because we're moving rapid fire here on the show.
Yeah, right. You had 3 banked guesses, and you didn't fire any off. Somebody, I was just going to check the Discord channel. Apparently somebody got there in the 3rd clue. Let's see. Let's take a peek. Shout out to Ramazan, a show I've never seen before, by the way, Chop. I don't know if that helps you or hurts you as far as the clues. You probably would guess I've seen this before. I'm aware of it. Certainly aware of it, but have not really seen this show before. I can pick it out of a lineup, but
so you never actually watched the show.
Never watched it start to finish. I've seen like the coming up Tuesday nights, like the Joe Buck reading about it or something like that kind of thing.
Interesting. I would have really pegged you for having seen these shows that you put out.
I don't want to steer it. I don't want to make it.
How do you know your clues are really good then? You don't know your clues are really good.
I did a little research too, just a little bit, just to make sure I got things right because I wasn't certain. I was fairly sure that this person's occupation was their occupation. I'm looking at the ownership stuff as far as this game, and it's not great. I got to refresh now because we just got Deleon Terry ruled out, and that had the ownership stuff go to 0. So got to get a little refresh, see if anything changes. But last I saw, you mentioned the Wolf thing. Wolf getting 46%. That's a big number for Danny Wolf. He was good last night. Good for him. That's a little bit more. Porter being back makes a few less shots to go around. Duren, I think, has got a really good shot to just control the middle here against Brooklyn. It's a pretty big spend. I don't mind him in tournaments, and I just have a hard time getting the Porter like almost always. But if you play Porter, you sort of want to run it back with somebody in Detroit because that means this game is close.
Danny Wolf does have the narrative going on right now.
Okay, well, I'll bite. What's the Danny Wolf narrative?
Well, he's Jewish.
Okay, and what does that mean? Like relative to what?
Come on,
Brooklyn?
Dean.
Is it a holiday that I'm not aware of?
If I have to explain it to you, Dean, what's going on in the world right now?
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, so it's a narrative. Is every game is a narrative?
Yeah.
So every game going forward.
You saw him last night, didn't you?
Well, he had a good game last night. Yes, they were without one of their key players, which also might have mattered. And they were also taking on Memphis, which I think sort of factored in too. But there you go. Is that what's affecting ownership? You think?
Oh, it might be. It might be. The more I look at the ownership, the more I'm thinking, I might pass on Danny Wolf. That's a lot. But he does have the narrative going. Who knows? I don't know. Who am I supposed to say?
Kuminga, by the way, officially out for Atlanta. We're going to get to that game next. By the way, people were taking victory laps as far as Kuminga in his first couple games at Atlanta. He played against like the three worst teams. Like I know I think he played the same team twice or something. I'm not a Kuminga truther. I think Golden State was kind of right on Kuminga. You can't shoot, which is kind of he's very athletic, but you got to be able to shoot in today's day and as far as the game. But okay, we'll see. We'll see how it works out for Atlanta. But they were super excited and taking victory laps right out the gate. Detroit, Brooklyn. I think we're done, right? Moving on.
For sure, moving on.
Okay, I want to see a new ownership number on Wolf. I feel like that's too high, but we'll see. We'll see if that changes or not. This stuff is fluid. We're still an hour and change until lock, and we're still waiting for a lot of news. Dallas taking on Atlanta 240.5 is a total. That's a great environment, right? Well, Atlanta is also 10-point favorites. Jalen Johnson, I think one of the best big spends here on the slate. We just got the official news that Kuminga is out. Otherwise, nothing really of note for Atlanta. We do have Asa Newell officially questionable. Officially doubtful in the G League. I'm assuming he's not going to be good to go. Also officially doubtful with G League stuff is Musa Cisse, the big for Dallas. But they do have Gafford back. Lively is still out. They have gotten healthier. Cooper Flagg. Is it too late for Cooper Flagg? Is it not happening? He's not going to win Rookie of the Year, right? You got passed, and is that it? It's Con Knipples to lose now, right?
Well, I don't know about. Does he? Is Cooper going to make the games? The number of games?
If he stays healthy the rest of the way, yeah, he can get the 65.
Well, why wouldn't he? Yeah, he still put up a much better season than Knippel, and Knippel's been great.
Knippel's closed strong. Like Charlotte's elevated as the season progressed. They're going to make the playoffs, and Dallas is not. Like, who's going to have a better career? Probably Flagg. I think it's a pretty fair bet. Like, that seems very likely. But Knippel's still really good.
So how good is Cooper Flagg, you think, Dean? He's really good, right? Like
he's like 18, 19. He's like he's going to be
exceptional,
awesome.
Right? He's exceptional.
Yeah.
So they put it like, think about it like this. They had Cooper Flagg, a generational talent. Mm-hmm. He's what you call generational. And they had Con Knippel playing point guard in college, right?
What team was it? Michigan?
Duke.
Okay.
And they had another guy who's, I think he was a top 10 pick, the center. And the name's slipping my mind. I think he was top 10. And they had some other good players too. But they still couldn't win the title because two freshmen were your two best players. I went back and looked at it, Dean, like over the last 30 years or whatever. And that's as far as I want to go back. I don't want to. It probably dates back further than that. The best players on a team, only 2 times has your best players been true freshmen and they won a title. And both of those were big men. So you're not getting away with it with guys in the backcourt. So who was the
2 players?
2 different teams. Duke did it one time like 15 years ago. Jahlil Okafor. I don't know if you remember him.
I remember him.
Throwback, but he was like a number 1 pick or something in the draft.
He was a Bobcat, wasn't he? Am I right to say he was a Bobcat?
What do you mean by Bobcat? Oh, Charlotte? Oh, yeah. He might have been.
Wasn't he in the Charlotte Bobcats? Remember them?
He might have been. He might have been. But he was probably Duke's best player that year, and they won the title. And Kentucky won the title with a big man as probably their best player, although that's debatable because at the time he was just a defensive force, and that's unibrow. Remember Kentucky had a unibrow? Anthony Davis, yeah, when he was good, but he had no offensive game at the time. He was just basically all defense. I'm listing as their best player, but that's even debatable. So, but it's you got to have an experienced backcourt in the tourney. You just can't depend on freshmen. So that's why I don't like it. I don't like the teams that are built on just freshmen. If you have Flagg and Knippel, you got to win the title, man. If they can't win the title. I remember
wasn't Flagg hurt though? I think he was hurt.
No, he wasn't.
Was he playing injured? Did he get injured that year?
No. What? That was last year. No, he wasn't injured at all.
Was it the previous year where he got injured? There was a year where
he didn't have a previous year. No.
He was playing through something.
No. Fake news. No. The first game of the ACC tournament, like a month prior, he twisted his ankle, but
that's what I'm thinking of. They thought he might be done for a while, and he wasn't.
No, he could have come back and played. They thought he might come back and play, but they sat him out the ACC tournament just to be safe. He was fine going into the NCAA tournament. So, no, that's all. That's all. But remember Duke several years ago, they had Zion Williamson, R.J. Barrett, was it Cam Reddish, who was really good. They had all that, and they got bounced in like the Sweet 16. I want to say they got bounced by your UCF team. I'm not sure when UCF had that really tall guy. I forget his name too. You remember your UCF? Taco Fall, man. Or they played them to the buzzer, and then they got beat the next game, something like that. But they couldn't win with Zion and Barrett and all those guys, Reddish. So I just don't think, in college, just don't build around true freshmen, man. It doesn't. I don't know why nobody listens to me. Why doesn't Kelvin Sampson have me on the payroll? Like, I don't.
Wait, how do you not build around true freshmen? What do you mean? Like, what you have to bring him in? You're saying just don't make him the key to your team, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
By the way, that player on Duke you're talking about, he's the backup center for Phoenix now. Tonight, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but that's with Williams being out, he's playing backup for Phoenix.
Yeah, he's a great rim protector, man, and lob threat, and they had that too. So. Yeah, well, no, I don't want to. I'm looking at the teams this year, and Arkansas is built around a true freshman point guard. Houston's built around a true freshman point guard. Kingston Fleming. I don't like these teams, man, in the tourney. It sucks, but
is there a chance our teams are going to clash? Is UCF in line to play Houston? Possibly. I haven't looked at the bracket.
I mean, if they get to a certain point in the Big 12 tournament, the NCAA.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
Big 12, maybe. Yeah, if UCF can get far enough, sure.
Yeah, well, Houston's got to get there too.
Well, Houston finished second in the conference, so they get the double bye. So
okay,
they don't have to play till Thursday. So probably dependent on UCF.
They're probably making the tournament though.
I'll tell you this much: UCF is a solid team. They have a good. I like the way they're built, but we'll see.
Okay. Back to Dallas and Atlanta. Atlanta again, big time favorite here against the Mavs. Just kicked out. Oh, there we go. We had enough of a conversation there. We got the kick Kuminga out of projection. So Chop, give the old lineup HQ a refresh. And we got some more data here as far as Atlanta. See if anything significantly changes for the Hawks. Well, you gotta like Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson, is he the highest projected points on the slate? He is. Yes, more so raw points, more so than Cunningham, more so than Wemby. How are we feeling about Atlanta and Dallas? Dyson Daniels also looks really good on DK as well. You got to pay for Flag, but if we get 30-ish minutes or so, he's an interesting run back. What's your take?
Yeah, so Dallas doesn't really interest me that much because Cooper Flag's their best player, and I think there's still somewhat of a minutes limit there, and so I don't love him, and if I don't love him, I don't necessarily see any good salaries with the rest of the guys in relation to what I think they can score. So I'm not really big on Dallas. Another reason why I don't like Cooper Flag as much tonight, Dean, I might be way off on this, but I think he sees a lot of Dyson Daniels. And it's the same reason I kind of don't like Dyson Daniels tonight, even though he's going to project decent and he's projected for a pretty good chunk of ownership. I think he's going to be a defensive guy tonight and just focus on Flag. I think his offense is going to suffer because of it. I don't think he's going to look for too much on offense. He's going to have to put up one of those games where he collects like 7 steals. I don't want to depend on that. So I think Flag and Daniels kind of cancel each other out for me, and I'm not going to play either one of them. So, but otherwise on the Atlanta side, Jalen Johnson's fantastic. We know that. Love that projection. Although we'll talk about Wemby later. I think Wemby's the best play on the slate, but Jalen Johnson's fine. And Okongwu, he's like $3K cheaper, and you're going to get a good chunk of production from Okongwu too. Against Dallas, Jalen Johnson and Okongwu get this matchup against Dallas, which is super soft on the interior. That's a good thing for both of them. And with some of the things that have been ruled out for Atlanta, I think CJ McCollum is a decent $6,700. He's not like jumping out. But 6,700, get a little piece of the backcourt for Atlanta if you want it. I don't hate it. Don't love it, but don't hate it.
You said you're going to cross out Flag because he's going to be covered by Daniels. I think that means you're crossing out Dallas. If you want to tell yourself a story, maybe Bagley, but it's just tough. You don't know how many minutes he's going to get. Pretty strong fantasy point getter player, but if you're not playing flag, I don't know who you're playing on Dallas. Basically, that's the only other person I can tell a story for is Bagley, and his minutes are not guaranteed. He's just going to be backing up, I presume, just backing up Gafford. If his game gets ugly, he probably mops. So that's an angle you can work. And I love Jalen Johnson too. He's my favorite big spends on the slate. If I can get there, I'm thrilled about it. A little bit concerned about the blowout, but he's got a decent shot at the old triple dub here versus Dallas. And I'm okay playing Daniels. I think he's cheap enough that despite being tasked with guarding flag, which that makes sense. That checks out. Don't mind Okongwu either, but my favorite is Johnson. I'm okay getting the Daniels. McCollum, I'm averse to players that are a little bit almost too reliant upon scoring. Now, he certainly can score 30 points here, but he's got to put at least 20 in that bucket to get you there. But I got nothing else here. You want to play blowout angle, like Jock Landale is not completely bonkers if you're running a bunch of lineups. He's a really strong fantasy point getter player. We're giving him 19. If this game blows out, he probably gets 24 or so, or if Okongwu gets some foul trouble, something like that. Lippy's asking about PJ Washington for Dallas. I mean, there's
nothing that he's done recently that makes me just not drawn to that type of player. Like, there's nothing going on. Yeah, if Cooper Flagg was out and somehow he got ruled out, sure. But otherwise, there's just nothing there to me. I don't know.
Yeah, and Lippy says he's got 40-point upside. Like, okay, if I'm paying $6K for somebody, you better have 40-point upside. That's not like an endorsement.
And theoretically, couldn't we say that about 30 guys here? Like,
that are cheaper.
A lot of guys on the slate who have 40-point upside. It doesn't mean they're going to get there 99% of the time.
Yeah, he can. It's just I'm not pushing that button.
I remember when we got him for $3K to start the season on opening night. That was fantastic. But that ain't.
Some people didn't play him.
$3K ain't walking through the door tonight.
We got 3 more games. They're all at 8 o'clock. We'll get to those in a second. Do want to mention Pick Labs, the newest RotoGrinders feature. Lets you scan the best player prop and pick them bets in just seconds. Everything is broken down for you: edges, win rates, the value. When you fire up Pick Labs, you're looking at a clean board. It's going to show you which plays actually stand out across not just sports books, but as well as sites like Underdog, Prize Picks. You see something you like, Pick Labs is going to build the slip for you. Send it straight to the book of your choice, rotogrinders.com/picklabs. That's where you find out more information. That's where you get in on it. rotogrinders.com/picklabs. Also want to mention NASCAR. NASCAR is still a thing. It's still happening. NASCAR projections live for the 2026 season, including projections from RotoDoc, as well as Stevie TPFL. You'll get access to articles, videos. RotoGrinders are breaking down the races every single week. Lineup HQ Optimizer is going to come preloaded. It's preloaded with player and ownership projections for trucks, NOAPS, and the Cup Series. Additionally, we talk about Discord channels all the time. Our Discord channel, rotogrinders.com/Discord, the live stream chat channel where you give your guesses for our games we run. That's a free channel. This is not a free channel. If you're participating in the NASCAR streets, if you get the NASCAR package, you get access to Stevie's betting picks, as well as exclusive access to the NASCAR channel in the RotoGrinders Discord channel. All right, 3 more games to go. The 8 o'clock games. Any news out there that's lurking? It's pretty quiet in the streets. I saw we got a, not surprisingly, Tyler Hero game time decision. And I'm telling you, they know. They know if he's playing or not. They definitely know if he's playing or not. This is just like, it's Washington. Do you want to play or not want to play? We don't really need you. You want to chill, you can chill. Okay. Next game up. Well, again, 3 games at 8 o'clock. 1 really, really good one. Really good real life game. 2 not so great games. This one's probably the worst of the 3. It's the Suns. The Suns are taking on the Bucks. 218.5 is a total, not a very appealing number. It is tight, right? The Suns are just a 1.5, 2-point favorite at Milwaukee. Who's out for this one? Well, Grayson Allen officially questionable. Dylan Brooks still out with his hand. Jordan Goodwin is good to go. He's available. Mark Williams also. The center is not playing. So what does he have? A stress fracture or stress reaction Left foot, third metatarsal. I was wondering which metatarsal it was. It's the third one. Third metatarsal for Mark Williams. Antetokounmpo is out. That is Alex Antetokounmpo. Alex Antetokounmpo not playing basketball tonight for Milwaukee. Bobby Portis officially questionable. Chris Jericho. No, Jericho Sims. That's a different guy. That's a wrestler. He's not playing tonight. Jericho Sims is questionable with his patella. Tareem Prince. Oh, he's questionable. We haven't seen him in a while. And Bobby Portis is he's got that back. So he is questionable. But the big one is Kevin Porter Jr. Kevin Porter Jr. is out. He's got a knee. So that opens up some stuff. And then there's Giannis, who they're just not really pushing him, unfortunately. So he's not terribly exciting because Milwaukee's going nowhere. And he's kind of a lame duck, it seems like, in this team. Chop, that is also the signal. You heard it. The chat heard it. We don't necessarily need it, but we're playing it out for fun. The fourth clue. We got enough likes. Keep hitting that like button. We appreciate it. Was Mets. Chop, you don't know the answer, right? I don't think you know the answer officially. The fourth clue is Mets for today's Television Tuesday. We did get a winner earlier from Ramazan. But, yeah, Suns, Bucks. Are we enthused? I don't think I'm enthused. Are you enthused?
Well, I wouldn't say enthused, That's not the word I would use.
No.
Let's see, but there is pieces. So, we'll see about Portis and Sims and all that on Milwaukee. Maybe that could, if everybody gets ruled out, maybe you could go Miles Turner. I don't know. Did you know Milwaukee is mathematically eliminated from the playoffs? It's kind of weird because it's hard to if you want to make the playoffs these days and you have, like a Giannis, even though he's been injured, and some other pieces, like it's hard to not. Well, it's very difficult.
Playing nonsense.
It's very difficult to be eliminated like in early March if you actually want to make it. So it's weird that they got eliminated. But so we'll see about those injured guys. Something might open up for Miles Turner or Cos. I don't know. I don't like it. Dieng 4,400, probably the only player on Milwaukee that even vaguely interests me with Kevin Porter Jr. out. Should get a little run here. So Dieng is fine because Ryan Rollins is too pricey. So that's how I am. Phoenix, there's not a lot there, but I will say if Grayson Allen gets ruled out, I'll take some Colin Gillespie. I'll take some Colin Gillespie. It's dependent on Grayson Allen, but Gillespie has shown, it's a good matchup, and he's shown in the past that with the proper time on the court, he could stuff the sheet and build a big, big fantasy total. So I'd be on Colin Gillespie if Grayson Allen got ruled out.
Yeah, Gillespie, currently starting alongside Booker and Green. That's our projection, but we get a little bit more responsibility. Grayson Allen, jumps in that second unit, takes a bunch of shots. Goodwin is available too, for what it's worth. But yeah, I thought you were going to say Jalen Green, who's really up and down. And speaking of players that are super reliant on their shots, in theory, he's made some shots of late. 24, 25, 12, and 20 in his last four as far as points in the bucket. And he's been firing away a lot and a little bit better as far as actually making it. But the price has also kind of caught up with him too. So, and Milwaukee, you mentioned Jang. Yeah, Usman is basically the best. We're assuming he starts, the absence of KPJ. And like you said, it's worth monitoring if Portis plays, if Sims plays, or current minutes for those guys. Not necessarily for them, but just kind of how it solidifies all our stuff. We're giving 24 to Sims, 23 to Portis, and 14 to Prince. Man, Miles Turner, just what a disaster, right? So many different ways how it went wrong. They kind of signed him to keep Giannis happy, and that's not going to work. And he's just not been good for them. And great job by the Pacers. I don't recall if the Pacers tried to sign him.
Was it a great job by the Pacers, Dean? There's a butterfly. Yeah. There's a butterfly effect there.
What's the butterfly effect?
That if you sign Miles Turner, then you don't trade later on in the season. You trade away your number one pick for Ivan Zubac.
Well,
and your number one pick might actually end up being an extremely valuable asset this year.
Well, I mean, that's coincidentally, of course, is when Pascal Siakam all of a sudden had a wrist and he all of a sudden had a leg, and they traded for Ivan Zubac, but nobody would know that because he's played 0 games for the Pacers because he's got a mystery injury, Zubac.
But
what's written in, what they wrote in is that it's top 4 protected. So
yes, but
they got a 50% chance basically.
They traded him because they want him for next year in the future.
Yeah.
Right. It was a future. It was a future thing. Yeah. And but if you have Miles Turner, then you don't trade. You don't have to trade for him at all. You don't have to trade. If you would have just signed Miles Turner to a few years, you wouldn't trade. And now you wouldn't be sweating this pick. Like even a number 5 pick, like if it falls out of the top 4, it's unprotected and they get like, I'm telling you, the top 6 or 7 players in this draft could all be game changers, could all be franchise changers. You just don't know. Oh man. I talked about 2 point guards earlier, Acuff and Kingston Flemings. Either one of those guys might end up they're going to be top 5, 6, 7 picks somewhere along there. Either one of those guys could be your future point guard for an NBA franchise. Yes, this is a extremely high-end draft, man. It's crazy.
I can't remember the rest of the trade, but like in theory, you wouldn't trade the 4th overall pick for Zwarych. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. So I don't remember. I don't recall what else was involved, but especially when you're not even, you're doing it for next year. And could they have not gotten Zwarych in the offseason? I don't know how available he was or some other team. Ironically, since Zwarych was traded, the Clippers have been excellent. They've been one of the better teams.
Maybe we're all overthinking this, Dean. And the whole lottery really is rigged, and the Pacers know. Well, you know what? We've already been assured the frozen envelope. We're going to get the number 3 pick. We're okay.
The frozen envelope was one time with Patrick. They're not envelopes anymore. That was the Patrick Ewing thing. That probably wasn't true. But we did it in front of everybody too. There's the videos available.
I have no idea. Now they just don't even have to do a frozen envelope because it's not on live TV anymore. They just take everybody.
There's representatives for every team. So
they take everybody in the back room. They lock the door and they confiscate all cell phones and video, everything. So, like, who knows, man? And then it's all one big scam. Like
4 or 5 people know a secret. That secret's coming out, and there's way more than 4 or 5 people that know it. So
Okay.
I mean, look, I know it's a fun conversation.
Come on, dude. The Dallas thing last year was.
Dallas was going to make the playoffs when they made that trade.
Come on now.
They weren't even expected to be in the lottery.
Exactly.
You can take any angle you want on it. Raptors, Rockets. Your Rockets, they're 4.5-point favorites tonight versus the Raptors, 220.5. That is the total in this one. Who's in? Who's out for this one? TJD is still out for Toronto. CMB also out for Toronto. Jakob Poeltl officially questionable. He had the fish. Big man there for Toronto. They do need his size. They need his girth. Taking on Alperen Sengun, who hasn't been so great lately for Houston. Otherwise, Houston is healthy. They're not going to get any healthier. They're not going to get Steven Adams, FEV. This is the team. Houston's perfectly healthy here versus the Raptors. The Raptors are pretty healthy with the exception of Poeltl. I know we had a if-then on Poeltl. I believe we did. I don't know how much that would change things. If it changed things much, nobody would really jump, right? Mamakhelishvili, I suppose, would get some extra run. He's the interesting one to keep an eye on, and you did need some size here against the Rockets. Talk to me about the Raptors in Houston.
Oh, man. This seems like a really dull game, if we're being perfectly honest about this. So
it does.
Yeah, I don't know that there's anybody I necessarily – there's absolutely nobody I have highlighted, that's for sure. I think that ultimately Reed Shepherd is priced up now to where 6,800, okay. He had his good runs, and if he was cheaper again, yeah, maybe. And he's going to put up some points, but 68's a little bit too much. Sengun, like you said, just hasn't looked very enthused since Burnergate, honestly. I'm being serious, D.
What was said about him? I didn't go down this rabbit hole. Was there something that was said that was like?
So I'm not saying it was Durant. He's been accused of owning the burner, which he probably did.
This user, what do they say about?
This user said, "Fat something or another." It was not polite. It was not complimentary at all. You know what I'm saying?
What would be the point of doing that if you're Durant? Like, just like throwing another vessel and just to kind of get it out of your system?
Yeah.
Does he want people to find out? Like, what's the upside?
I don't think he wanted people to find out, but he just wants to, let it be known. Hey, man, this guy's fat, man. He's not dedicated to the game like I am. I'm married to the game, and this guy's walking around with 30 extra pounds. He hadn't got. And then this guy over here, he's just dumb. He just doesn't get NBA offense.
Who's that?
Jabari. That's basically what he said about Jabari.
Yeah.
He used a term that we don't politically correct term anymore.
Gotcha.
So, but Şengün hasn't been good since then. And I don't know. So maybe he's lost his shine this year. I'm in, for the most part this year, playing out of position. If you get him over there and Reed Shepard's going to play a lot of point guard, I'm in. Actually, kind of hit on this a few weeks ago when they were making that change to Reed Shepard. I was saying if Reed Shepard can be more of a full-time point guard, Amen Thompson can come back for a fantasy asset because he's going to be better when he's not the point guard. Well, he's actually had some, a nice spell of games with Reed Shepard. When Reed Shepard gets heavy minutes at point guard, Amen's good. So Amen probably in play here. It's just a boring game, though. Jabari's got to shoot lights out. Don't love that. Tari's been uninspired lately. Durant actually, in this style of a game, he could put up 35 real-life points and he's always capable of grabbing some rebounds for you. So I think for 87, he's actually a pretty decent play. Toronto, nothing really interests me. I mean, you'd have to have a ceiling game out of Barnes. And Ingram is an extremely, extremely poor man's version of Durant with that mid-range game. I don't want to take that here. Barrett, quickly don't do it. And if Pirtle sits, maybe you could go Mamashvili, but that's about it. Not a big Toronto fan here tonight.
Yeah, I think Mamashvili is the most interesting piece if we happen to lose Pirtle. And that's something I used to say about Ingram as well. Like if you squint just enough, you can every once in a while Ingram will look like Kevin Durant. Certainly not saying he's Kevin Durant, but the stunt double version, the like seventh version of multiplicity version of Kevin Durant. If you remember, there's an old dated reference for the olds out there. You've seen it before. Michael Keaton. I'm sure you've seen multiplicity chop. Yes.
Yeah. I've seen it. I don't even remember it though, but I've seen it though. I know I've seen it.
He had a busy life, so he found a way to like make copies of himself.
Clone himself before
he kept cloning
himself.
So he could be in more than one place at once, and then shenanigans ensues. I don't remember much else either, but I remember that was a thing that happened. All right, not much as far as ownership either. As far as this game, just taking a peek ownership wise. By the way, we lost Clayton for Memphis. Not surprising. Back half of back-to-back, Memphis down to 10. I think that's 10. Something else goofy may happen, but still 10, 24 minutes on average for these players. We'll see if anything changes when it comes to the projections. Let's see. Yeah, most popular player we're seeing is Barrett at 11%, KD at 10, Amen at 5. This is large field stuff, basically. If you're making one lineup, you're almost definitely staying away. We do not have the fifth clue for Television Tuesday. We should reveal that soon, I imagine. Hit that like button. We already have the winner, but let's hit the like button anyway. Crunch time coming in about 5, 6, 7 minutes, give or take. TJ Zwarych and Will, the Chief Priester, also coming in. The best game on the slate from a watchability perspective, I believe this is also on the Peacock. I think it's on Peacock tonight, if not mistaken. Doubleheader for Peacock. Minnesota Lakers back half, front half. Boston, San Antonio. San Antonio, one of the hottest teams in basketball. People are talking about. You knew it was going to happen at some point with Wemby, but man, he's really just absolutely insane and still getting better. And Tatum is back. Boston getting better as well. 221.5 is the total. San Antonio is a 3-point favorite here. Who's in? Who's out for this? Last night we didn't really get basketball game. I was telling somebody else the other day, the bad basketball is horrific, but the good basketball is still really good. Last night, OKC Denver was phenomenal. I think Boston, San Antonio, it's a tough bar, but maybe they can get there tonight. That should be a fun one if you want to watch a good basketball game, aside from DFS and all that. Peyton Pritchard's out. He's got a neck, so he cannot play basketball tonight. Vucevic, Nikola Vuk is out with his finger. He's going to be out for several weeks. So Boston a little bit thinner. San Antonio, still Harry Barnes is out with his ankle. He lost his consecutive games played streak. Otherwise, they are fully healthy in San Antonio. You mentioned earlier, like in Wemby. I don't necessarily love the matchup against Boston, but it's Wemby and he's matchup proof, right? And it's also a showcase game if you want to argue for a couple extra minutes or so. I think it's an island game as well. I have that written down. Yeah, San Antonio did not play yesterday, or they're not playing tomorrow. So, how you feel about the Celtics and the Spurs?
I think it's a great game in real life, and I think it's a really, really fun game now for fantasy. So, yeah, I'm putting Wembanyama. I don't like to do the whole run the slates 1,000 times thing, But if you did run the slates 1,000 times, I think Wemby would be your slate's leading scorer more than anybody else. So he's just got that in him. I like him tonight a lot. The ownership is minuscule on him compared to some of the other guys. He's not that much more. Like, he's in the same neighborhood salary wise as some of the guys he's projected around. Like, he's 400 more than Jalen Johnson. He's cheaper than Cade Cunningham. He's 200 more than Giannis. Like, he has the best chance to be the slate's leading scorer. So I love Wembanyama in tournaments tonight. Just love it because you get Boston. This game, I just cannot see this game, Dean, being a blowout. Like, I might be wrong.
I don't see it either.
I've been wrong before plenty. I mean, I've been wrong 3 straight games now on the U.S. World Baseball Classic. I've lost 3 straight, taking the stupid run lines against these terrible nations, and they just don't get there.
How big are the run lines? Are they like 6.5, 7? I haven't really been betting.
I'm an idiot, Dean. Okay, I'm a sucker, man. The first 2 against those 2 teams, U.S. was minus 10.5.
Okay, it's baseball, but yeah.
You got the best of the best for this country against those first 2 were like, my goodness, these guys on the mound are just total gas tanks. So I didn't get that one. Then I came back, I think it was last night against Mexico. It was much more reasonable. It was 3.5. And they jumped out to a 5-0 lead. And then Duran went crazy and hit 2 home runs. So I didn't get there. So I'm martingaling it tonight, but that's another story. So point being here.
Wait, they got Italy tonight? What's the number? Italy's got to be like 11.5 or something, right?
No. It's like 5.5.
Oh, they got Vinny Pasquantino, right? I think he's on the Italian team.
It's not so much the hitters, it's the pitchers. What do the pitchers look like? And so that's the key point right there. But Wembanyama, I think, is a great. I forgot where I was at, but yeah, Wemby, fantastic because I don't see it being a blowout. So I think we are in line for extra minutes. Like, he's an emotionally connected player. This is a big matchup. He's going to be ready for this. He's not like some of these guys who walk around and just don't care about the regular season. He cares.
He cares.
So I think there's meat on that minute bone. If to steal your phrase, Dean. I think there's meat on that minute bone. I think he can get there. Now, I'm not in love with the rest of the Spurs players because he is a unicorn in what he does. And the rest of those guys have to take on a really tough Boston defense. There is no defense, obviously, for Wemby when he gets going, so I'm not worried about it there. But I would worry about it for Fox and Castle and those guys. On the Boston side, I was prepared not to be like anybody, but then Peyton Pritchard got ruled out. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute now. Now maybe there's something there for some of these other guys. Jaylen Brown is not necessarily the guy I'm highlighting here, but Jaylen Brown's going to get some extra run with Peyton Pritchard out, and he's going to get it with some different lineup combinations that he doesn't normally play with, I think. So Jaylen Brown's kind of interesting. The most interesting guy, the guy I like the most, is Derek White because Peyton Pritchard being out is going to, Derek White's going to obviously get a little bit more run, a little bit more opportunity. And I think Derek White's game, Dean, how does Derek White really prosper here? Defensive stats and 3-pointers. He's a big 3-point guy. In fact, last time he played the Spurs, he took 17 3-pointers.
I like that.
Yeah, he only made 5 of them, and he still ended up with 55 DK points. So his game isn't going to be affected by a very tough, Spurs defense, I don't think. So and now we got Pritchard out. So Derek White's on my short list. Don't want to know spoilers. He's on my short list for the Plums play of the night. Just because I think it's a good matchup. I don't hate the matchup here.
Chop Bang the Drummond's asking, if you play Wemby, do you feel like you need to run back a Celtic? I wouldn't say need to, but
you don't need to. But
you don't need to. But nothing else.
You don't need to. But if we're saying it's the reason why you're playing Wemby is because it's going to be a 5-point game all the way through and all that, why not run it back with one of those star Boston players? I don't mind that. And honestly, Jason Tatum's price, and I'm not recommending playing him necessarily, his price is only going to go up from here on out. He hasn't looked particularly bad these first 2. I really thought he would look a lot worse, and he's looked pretty fluid. And again, he can stand out there on the 3-point line game. He's not going to be too affected by Wemby either. So yeah, why not? Any of those guys I think are solid run backs.
His shot hasn't really dropped great, 6 of 16, 6 of 16. But yeah, watching him, it looks like he's moving good. Like very impressive. I'm impressed with what we've seen so far. 27 and 27 minutes the first 2 games. We're giving him 28. Like he's not going to be full, I don't think. But maybe he gets a bump to 29, 30, maybe. But you're right. The price on Tatum is not going to go backwards. I do want to get that Plums play. Before I get that, I do want to tell the people about today's Television Tuesday. Chop, you see the 5th clue is dropped. We do have a winner. Shout out to Ramazan in the Discord channel. First clue was Mercury. Second one was Drive. Third one was Comedy. Mets was the 4th clue. 5th clue was Deliver. Chop, you have a guess before we give the full reveal? I know you don't know the answer just yet.
That is a really vague set of clues. Television Tuesday, Mercury, Drive, Comedy, Mets. I really haven't put too much thought into it, but wait a minute, Mets. Wait a minute. Is it the Yankees or is it the Mets that play in Queens? Is it the Yankees or the Mets that play in Queens?
It's the Mets.
Is it the King of Queens?
It's the King of Queens. There you go.
Oh, shit. All right.
Yeah, so nicely done, Chop. Mercury, of course, is the name of the greatest frontman in the history of music that happened to play for a band called Queen, Freddie Mercury. 2, Drive. That's what the Kevin James, I don't know what his character, like Doug, I think is his character's name. I did a little bit of research. He drives a UPS, or like a bootleg UPS company he works for. 3, just telling you it's a comedy, making it very simple. It's a comedy. 4, Mets, yeah, the Mets play in Queens. And 5, again, the dude's job, he's a delivery driver, so he's delivering packages. And there you go. That is how we got to the King of Queens. Chop, you teased it. Now I want it. Who is today's Plums play?
It's a 3-man short list on the Plums play of the day, so I'm going to limit it down to one guy now that we got the news he is in. I think VJ Edgecombe is in for a big, big game tonight. I'm going VJ Edgecombe for Philadelphia.
All right, let's do it. Let's see what's his transition to crunch time. We have TJ. TJ's Zwarych, one of the greatest DFS players in all of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. Joined today by the Chief. It's Will. It's crunch time right now. What's up, boys? TJ, how are things? Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. Things are going really, really well. This is a weird slate. I feel like there are very few plays that I actually want to play today, but I'm feeling a little bit better after the last 5 minutes of GrindersLive because 2 of my favorites were VJ Edgecombe and Derek White. And so being on the same page as Chop usually goes well, and so feeling good.
Taurean Prince available to play. Speaking of royalty, Taurean Prince available. We've not seen him for months. We've not seen him for a long time, but they're saying Prince is available.
There's the Munda Dean.
There you go. King Jockey Jofer. What's up, Will? How are things?
I'm good, man. Glad to be on. Chop, how goes it? Time for another possible championship run for your guys?
It's time, Chief. It's here. It's here, man. It's time.
Listen, so I must admit, I'm not, and this is probably a lot of people, Chop. We might not all be Houston fans, but we're definitely fans of your coach. He's one of my favorite coaches, man. High level of accountability in that program. High level of accountability. He's one of my favorites, man.
If you go to Houston, you're not running from the grind. You're running into the fire, and that's what makes them. That's what makes them good. So I like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Shout out Kelvin Sampson. All right, Chop, let's step aside. Let's get out of here. Let's make way for crunch time. You got 40 minutes into lock 7 games. You're probably, possibly, maybe getting some more news. The Miami news, specifically Tyler Hero. That is the big one that can definitely break this slate even further. Because it's all about the Heat. It could be even more about the Heat. We happen to lose Hero. That was Chop. Chop's gone. What's up, Chop? Bye, Chop. I was Dean. I'm going to leave too. It's all yours, TJ.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to NBA Crunch Time. got an interesting little slate ahead of us with really, really not much that I want to do with it, if I'm being honest. I'm running out 150 lineups. I got an incredibly tight pool. There's not much that stands out tonight. I'm TJ Zwarych. That's Will Priester. How you doing, Chief?
I'm good. And I think the way to play this slate tonight for guys like us, TJ, my head hurt even thinking about, to be honest, a single entry team today. There's no single entry going on here. It's all MME today, man. So many random things could happen. Only mass multi-entry for me.
Was just looking at things, and I had my first set of builds come in. My 3 highest owned players are Simone Fontecchio, Drew Smith, and Myron Gardner. So not feeling great about the slate that we're rolling out there today. But alas, let's start diving into it. We will go position by position, starting on DraftKings. We'll go to FanDuel next. Then we will, of course, take your questions. If you got any questions, get them into our RotoGrinders live stream Discord chats. Get them into the YouTube chat. I'll go Discord first. I'll go YouTube second. YouTube, all we ask is that you hit that like button for us. All right. Let's start things off here. Chief, we've kind of teased the slate already, but I'll throw it to you for a little point guard action on DraftKings.
There's not much in the point guard action, I can tell you that. Do you like Cade Cunningham? He's good. I don't mind playing him. How do you feel about Cooper Flag? Maybe. Cooper Flags, but I understand it's a matchup with Atlanta. Quentin Grimes also has a tag today for those of you. That's for my boy Kirk Dees. Shout out, Jug Nation, stand up. I'm not thrilled about it, but everyone seems to be interested. I think for me, TJ, it's how good do you feel about Cade? Somebody that is it a matchup where they should kind of possibly run away with this game, but you're just not sure. I don't hate CJ McCollum in the mid-range. I don't hate Campaign as like a flyer. Obviously, Drew Smith is going to be squarely in play if Hero's out. But generally speaking, TJ, I'm not. I mean, point guard doesn't feel like there's some lock button here. So whoever fits is who I think you should play. Personally, if you're going to – I think there are guys that can make up some of Wemby's points, if that makes any sense, TJ. I just don't know if we have as much high-level DFS scoring at the guard positions today, which is why I'm so interested in Cade, if that makes any sense. Understanding that Cade can let me down, but generally speaking, Wemby and Bam could have equitable performances tonight. I don't know if anybody else in the point guard spot is going to come close to Cade if Cade goes off. Do you get what I'm saying? Which is why I'm so interested in Cade.
My highest owned guy from it's a salary saver, and it's Drew Smith, just because he's so wildly cheap. I do think he's probably the cash game choice.
I get
the position, but my big stand, I'm not going quite as heavy on Cade as you. I'm higher than what the ownership projections currently have, but I have 15% Cade. My guy's going to be Derek White. Derek White's the one that I'm going really, really heavy on today. No Peyton Pritchard, a little revenge against his former team. That's the big stand that I'm going to take, is heavy on Derek White. I got some Nolan Trayor. I hate it, but I have a little bit of Marcus Sasser, pending he remains in the starting lineup. I like Gillespie as is. I think he's fine, but I'm going even heavier on Gillespie if we happen to get Grayson Allen ruled out. And then I'm going to be underweight on Grimes and Flag just because I think they're fine, but I don't really see them standing out more aggressively than anybody else at the position, and yet they're still getting owned that way. I plan to fully fade Yakasionis. If you want to play him in cash, sure. I like Drew Smith better, but I'm going to fully fade Yakasionis at the near 50% ownership because I just don't think he has a ceiling, and he's going to be the guy I'm most comfortable being without today at high ownership. And so I'm just going to go X button full fade. That's going to be my way of getting different today. What do you think about him coming in as the highest owned point guard?
Oh, yeah. I don't have any Yakasianis shares. Sorry. I have none.
I went full zero Yakasianis as well. I saw somebody mention Craig in chat mentioning Ty Jerome. It's hard to get there at almost 7K with him barely playing any minutes. I do think it's a weak enough position today that you can get to Ty Jerome pending he plays because he has been so good from a point per minute standpoint. But I totally get it. I don't blame you one bit with that 24-minute projection. It's kind of tough to get there. And so if you don't want to, I totally don't blame you whatsoever. Shooting guard spot, I love Chop's VJ Edgecombe call. That's one of my favorite plays on the slate. He's no minutes limit for him. He's expected to be the primary ball handler. I think it's going to be a big day for VJ Edgecombe, projecting for low ownership. I see we have Dyson Daniels projecting for a ton of ownership. I'm not playing him at all. That's going to be another full fade for me. I hate that I'm getting some Sasser. I wish I could fade him, but I am still getting to some Sasser just because of how cheap he is. I like Pelly Larson as, you know, he's cheaper on FanDuel, but I do think he's viable on DraftKings as well at low ownership. And then Jalen Green's kind of like the same as I had said about Gillespie before. I think he's fine as is. If we happen to get, what's his name? Why can't I keep forgetting his name? Grayson Allen. If we happen to get Grayson Allen out, I like Green even more. And then Jaylen Brown, I also think is quite interesting here. What are your thoughts on shooting guard?
Yeah, I probably like Jalen Green a little bit more than you just because of the matchup with Milwaukee. Start to play around 30 minutes. I like him better than, say, a Reed Shepherd in this spot. So I do feel like Jalen Green. I feel like if Jalen Green gets you 36, 37 fantasy points tonight, that may be okay in the grand scheme of things at the position. If you want to get some Sasser, I'm okay with it. I'm in full agreement on VJ Edgecombe. He's a little more expensive than what I would have liked to pay. I would love for him to have been more like 7,500 TJ, but he's 8K. It is what it is. I think you roll him out. It's him and the Wet Bandits tonight. Like there's not a lot of, you know, guys at Philly that I think, you know, can match his upside. Maybe Kelly Oubre if things go really well. You know what I mean? But like in a general sense, there's not a lot of resistance for his fantasy, or shall I say possible fantasy production. But I think my guy at the position tonight, I do think is Jalen Green because he's a little bit lower owned than I think he should be. And once again, it's not because he's going off, DJ. It's because he's got a matchup with Milwaukee and he's back to about 30 minutes. So we know this is a guy that can score 30 real points. So I like Jalen Green quite a bit. I thought I was going to be more interested in CJ McCollum, and I do like him okay, but there's just no ceiling essentially in Atlanta right now for him. So yeah, that's where VJ Edgecombe would be my number one. Jalen Green would be my number two. Then you're getting to Oubre, Grimes, something like that. Obviously not to sniff at Jaylen Brown. I'm not telling you to not play Jaylen Brown, TJ, for what it's worth, or a Devin Booker. Like I'm not saying don't play those guys. I would play Edgecombe over Booker and Brown today, and I would play Green over probably Oubre. But after that, those two guys are like 1A, 1B for me in terms of Booker Brown.
All right, bring me over to small forward.
Take me to church. Similar here, where there's a couple repeat names, like a Jaylen Brown, like a Cooper Flag, if you want to get there, like a Oubre. Jalen Green, another repeat guy. I'm semi-interested in Kevin Durant because I feel like this game could be a little bit more competitive. His minutes have been stable. So I will, you know, I would like to squeeze in some Durant tonight. We'll see what happens in this Miami situation. If, in fact, it does flow the way we think, TJ, then obviously Jaquez will kind of fall into consideration for me. I'm not going overboard with Miami, though, TJ, for what it's worth. I've got obviously Drew, and then obviously Myron Gardner. But I'm gonna fade Larson tonight. Gonna fade Yakasionis. Like I'm fading those guys, and I'll load up on Bam, Gardner, and Jaquez, and a little bit Drew Smith. Just for what it's worth. I know we haven't got to Bam's position, but I want to make that clear. Like I'm not loading up on Miami, so we'll probably get this question, TJ. I'm going to answer at least for myself. What's my max on Miami? It's probably 3. I think that's my max. Like I'm not getting 4 or 5 deep tonight. That's just me. At any rate, a lot of the same guys, TJ. I think I've talked about them. I think I did run Michael Porter Jr. last time they played Detroit. It came out okay. I'm fine with it again, TJ. Like, if anybody's got ceiling at this spot, it's Michael Porter Jr., and he's got just as much ceiling as anybody at the position. So I want to make sure we include him yet again.
Good calls there. Yeah, I am going heavy on Miami today. I went max 4, but Jaquez is going to be my highest owned guy here.
We're not that far off, though.
Yeah. And then I want to get to as much Larson as possible, too. But Jaylen Brown is definitely my ideal first choice. We've talked about Green and Flag, talked about Porter. The guy that I'm getting to more than I want to is Dieng. I don't love that with Taurean Prince back. Hopefully we get Sims or Bobby Portis out. Both of them still obviously listed as questionable. If we get one of those out, I'm going to like my Dieng play quite a bit better. As of right now, I am playing a lot of him, though, and I'm not confident about it if both of those guys play with Taurean Prince being back. We did just get the 76ers starting lineup. No Cameron Payne, Quentin Grimes is the one in that starting lineup. I wasn't getting any Payne today anyways, but personally, not getting any of that. Power forward is tiny. I have 5 total players in my pool. One of them is Kyle Kuzma, who I don't want to play, but I'm only throwing in there for just kind of like hoping a Sims or Portis are out. Getting some Danny Wolf, getting a lot of Myron Gardner and Simone Fontecchio, and then Jalen Johnson, second favorite spend up on the slate behind Wemby. Who do you like power forward?
Yeah, obviously Jalen Johnson, and this is why, TJ, I was saying I feel like we can do Cade and a Jalen Johnson tonight and forego a Wemby. Now, hear what I'm saying. I'm not telling you to forego. This is what I was talking about, TJ, when I said I felt like there was a guy on the backside of this that we could get to and forego Wemby and play Cade. You get what I'm saying? Now, obviously, you can easily forego Cade and play Wemby and Jalen Johnson, but I'm just talking about where I feel like the fantasy points are going to line up at the position. I'm just not sure if another guard has 65, 70-point upside tonight on this slate, and Cade does. That was the point behind what I was talking about. As we get down now to the back end of this with Jalen Johnson, I know Wemby at center. Jalen Johnson has equitable upside to Wemby, and I can still play him and not play Wemby. So anyway, I'm not saying don't play Wemby. I'm just saying that was my thought process. But love Jalen Johnson here. Obviously, match up with Dallas. Definitely think you can get him in. Myron Gardner obviously is cheap. Fontecchio is cheap. I don't know which one of these guys is actually going to be the guy. Probably just have to split the difference. I'd have max 1 of either of those guys in my Miami builds, or just put them in a max 1 situation in their own group. But that's just me. Obviously, Jason Tatum is not back to full minutes yet, so not really playing him. I'm okay with Danny Wolf. Generally speaking, TJ, this is a weak position for me. I just say if you have the money, play Jalen Johnson, put Myron Gardner or Fontecchio in your other spot, and roll it from there.
All right, no qualms for me on that one. Take us over to the center spot where you got Wemby up top. You got Bam kind of in that mid-tier, and then a few cheap options you can go to. I'm making a stupidly wild big stand today, but I'll let you go first at center.
So, this is why I like Jalen Johnson over Wemby tonight. I think Bam in this spot has equitable upside to Wemby. So, as an example, TJ, if Wemby went for 60 tonight and Bam went for 55, right? Bam's still a better play because of the price. If Wemby goes for 55 and Bam goes for 49, Bam's still a better play. So that's where I'm kind of sitting here. I think Bam's the better play straight up. And so I'm kind of just siding with Bam, and I'll just live with the results, to be honest.
I'm going quite heavy on Wemby today.
Ooh,
Bam,
Maxey out 3 weeks. Maxey
3 weeks.
out
I just saw that. Yeah.
Wow.
Wemby and Bam definitely my top two, but I'm gonna play a bunch of a guy whose name I can't even pronounce, who I didn't know of before today, just because he's sneaky. He's been getting blocks. He's been getting rebounds. Playing Kaman Maluak for the Phoenix Suns, near mid-price. I kind of like it. I'm getting to a lot of him at a next to no ownership as a punt option at the center today. Because, yes, you can play Oso. Yes, you could play Okongwu. Yes, you could play Jalen Duren, Alperen Şengün. But I don't really like any of these center plays outside of Wemby and Bam. So when I'm not going to either of them, I am going with a punt with this Phoenix backup. If Jakob Poeltl is out, I would really like Sandro Mamukelashvili, but that is something we are still waiting on because we do still have Poeltl listed as questionable. That game doesn't start until 8 p.m. So definitely want to keep an eye on that one. So let's make the pivot over to FanDuel. But before we do, I want to make sure I let all the people know about Pick Labs. It's the newest RotoGrinders feature that lets you scan the best player prop and pick 'em bets in seconds. Everything's broken down for you from edges and win rates to value. It's a clean board showing which plays actually stand out across sportsbooks and sites like Underdog and Prize Picks. When you see something you like, Pick Labs builds a slip for you and sends it straight to the book of your choice. You can find Pick Labs at rotogrinders.com/picklabs. You'll be wondering how this wasn't a thing already. Plus, NASCAR projections are live for the 2026 season, including projections from RotoDoc and CVTPFL. You'll get access and videos and articles. I read that wrong. You'll get access to articles and videos on RotoGrinders breaking down each race. The Lineup HQ Optimizer will come preloaded with player and ownership projections for trucks, NOAPS, and Cup Series. Additionally, you'll receive access to Stevie's betting picks as well as exclusive access to the NASCAR channel in the RotoGrinders Discord. Hit that like button if you have not done so for us already. We'll be taking questions shortly. Going to the RotoGrinders live stream Discord chat first. Going to the YouTube chat second. Make sure you hit that like button for us. All right. FanDuel point guard, Chief. Who do you like over here?
A lot of the same guys. Obviously, I'm still going to like Cade. I'm still fine with Booker, even though he's a little bit more expensive. Obviously, this is where you really want to get your Edgecombe exposure, right? TJ 7,300. Hopefully, this is the guy that can get you into the 40s tonight. So very interested in playing him over there. Jalen Green, also a little bit more less expensive at 6,400. Really like him tonight. So he's another guy that I don't mind squeezing in. Those are my main guys. I mean, I know Sasha's 3,900. And then obviously, so you could play him, but generally speaking, those are my main guys, man. Cade, Booker. If you want to get Cooper Flag, fine. But, Edgecombe here on FanDuel, definitely one of my favorite plays today, along with Jalen Green.
Absolutely love Edgecombe as well. I'm right with you there. Derek White, another one of my favorite plays on the slate. Neither of these guys are going to be overly highly owned. Edgecombe a little bit higher, but both of them currently projecting sub 20%. Love both of those calls so much. Hero is actually our number one RG value right now, still listed as questionable. So keep an eye on that Tyler Hero news. We very well could get
TJ,
that.
if he plays, I'm fine with it against Washington.
Yeah. If out, that's where I'm really looking to load up on the Drew Smiths and the like, though. I still would drastically rate Drew Smith over Yakasionis. I'm on the no Yakasionis train today, but definitely keep an eye on that Miami situation still, because that's going to be very important. Shooting guard spot.
Poeltl is out.
Poeltl is out. All right, there we go. I'm going to get me some Mamu then, because Colin Murray Boyles is still out. So I'm going to do a new build. Make sure I am upgrading my Mamu exposure. I don't really think that makes me like any of the other Raptors, because it's not like Poeltl takes up a bunch of usage. Maybe Scotty Barnes loads up on the rebounds a little bit today, but I think Mamu is definitely the guy that benefits the most. Shooting guard on FanDuel. Who do you like?
So pretty similar for me. Obviously, Jaylen Brown is going to make the cut. Same for Booker. Same for Cooper Flag, who's got triple position eligibility on FanDuel, TJ. So you can get him, wherever you need him. VJ Edgecombe, double eligibility at point guard and shooting guard. So you can get him there. I guess my question is, how much Quentin Grimes do I want to get to? I don't like Grimes as much as the field. Like, I get it. It is a matchup with Memphis. I'm not thrilled about it, but the minutes are probably going to be there. I still like Jalen Green more. So he is who I would side with. I know you like Pele Larson. I'm not as high on Larson, so he's probably not going to fit the bill for me. That's about it for me at shooting guard, man, which, I know you can get Drew Smith there if he's out. Drew Smith would be 3,900 on FanDuel, and maybe he pops a couple blocks and steals, and that helps his fantasy production increase.
All right, let's switch over to the small forward position, where it's still much like FanDuel, much like DraftKings. Not a ton to love here, but it's at least a little bit better because we got a few more guys with positional eligibility. We got Myron Gardner, who's even cheaper on FanDuel than he is on DraftKings. I think that's basically a walk button play for me. Jalen Williams a little bit more expensive over here. Cooper Flag a little more expensive over here. I think I am more likely to stick in the mid-range with the Gardner and then one of Jaquez, Larson, Brandon Ingram's a little bit cheaper over here. Somebody like that. How about you?
Yeah, I don't mind that. Brandon Ingram is definitely cheaper at 7,700. I still don't know if I want to play him against Houston, but that's just me. Kelly Oubre is a little bit cheaper, so I like him quite a bit on this slate. You mentioned Jaquez already. Clearly, you probably want to get Jalen Johnson at power forward, so I don't want to play him there. I'm okay with Kevin Durant. Ooh, excuse me, everybody. Sorry about that. I'm still okay with Michael Porter Jr., even on the FanDuel slate, just because of his upside. This is a guy who can get you 50-plus fantasy points with the best of them. So like him quite a bit. You already mentioned our guys at the bottom here, so won't necessarily mention those guys, but in that kind of 7-8K range or 6 to 8K range, for me, Oubre would be a favorite of mine alongside Michael Porter Jr., Kevin Durant in that range.
All right, take me over to power forward.
Yeah, so power forward, you got Jalen Johnson, you got Wemby. Take your pick of the litter. Wemby, you can also get at center if you so choose. Bam Adebayo, those borderline lock butt for me. Really like him. And thankfully, TJ, he's actually putting up real fantasy production now, where earlier in the season, it felt like he was more of a 35 to 40-point fantasy scorer. And now that we've got all these injuries, we're getting down close to the end of the year. Miami's trying to make the push to see if they can be a play-in seed. TJ, now we're getting 50 to 60-point Bam performances sprinkled in. And that's what we need from him. So tonight, even if he gets 50 fantasy points tonight, I am very interested. So Bam's definitely one of my favorites. I think he could do a good. What's that?
Tyler Hero out.
There you go. So Bam, I like Bam even more. You can get to some of those cheap Miami guys. You can get Okongwu at power forward
now.
What's that?
I'll put Yakutsunis in the pool now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem. You can get Okongwu if you so choose at power forward as well. But generally speaking, man, those are my main guys, TJ. I'm not really there's not a lot to, and I'm air quoting here, not a lot to cheat with on FanDuel on the lower range tonight. Like, yeah, you can play Dominic Barlow if you like, and he very well could go off tonight. We've seen him do some special things, but I don't trust it. So I'm sticking with the big guns.
All right. I like it. Anybody else? Sorry, I was just adjusting my DK stuff here, but looking at the power forward, I'm with you. This does feel like a position to spend up. I like a $7,500 Okongwu. I do like a $7,500 or $5,400 Iguodaro as well if you got to go a little bit cheaper in tournaments. Dieng on FanDuel, I'm nowhere near as much of a fan on as on DK. I think that's probably a DK exclusive play for me, but I'm with you. It's Bam Adebayo, Johnson, Victor Wembanyama, the top options. If I need to go a little cheaper, Hawkes, Okongwu, Iguodaro, probably the ones that I'm going to. Center spot, who do you like? And Adem Bona is just the biggest fades for me today that I could possibly imagine.
40 fantasy points coming, TJ. It's one time this year, and I will just eat it. Bam's my favorite.
We got a bit of a wacky starting lineup for Memphis. That just came in. It's Jerome, Coward, Wells, Hendricks, and Prosper. And so I think we're projecting Gigi Jackson. It is actually Taylor Hendricks in the starting lineup. And then Leaky Black and Julian Reese are out for Washington today, as they are both in the G League. So that is 17 minutes and 28 minutes that we had projected for. Yeah, we hit Hero a while ago. But Leaky Black and Julian Reese, that's 45 minutes that are going to have to be redistributed around Washington. They got a ton of guys, but that actually might be interesting when we get the new projection here, because that's a lot of minutes.
Bub Carrington or Trey Johnson, Koulibaly, do they get closer to 30 minutes tonight? And if they do,
I still don't know anybody that's close to 30. That's the thing. They just have so many bodies.
I don't know. Bub has hit the 28, 30-minute mark with at least twice in the last 3 games. I could see him going for 30 minutes tonight, honestly. Bub would probably be my guy. If I was going to play one guy from Washington, I think it's Bub Carrington, in my opinion. But that's just me.
Yeah, no problems with that on my end either. Did you hit everything at center on FanDuel? Sorry.
Man, it's mainly Bam.
Yeah, sorry, I cut you off because I was giving that my Memphis news, and I never actually went to you. Yeah, so center on FanDuel.
Yeah, it's mainly Bam. Like, I'm not really trying to reach too far outside of what we're doing. Bam should be a guy, I think. So it's Bam for me.
All right, let's start getting to some questions here. Going to the RotoGrinders live stream Discord first, going to the YouTube chat second. Before we do, Chief, who is your plums play, your slate breaker? Who do you think is going to be necessary to take everything down tonight?
Oh, man, this is – and TJ, I've been doing this, right? Just kind of talking about guys that are off the beaten path. And recently I've been trying to lean into – not getting away from what my brain is telling me or seeing. I'm going with Jalen Green. I know it's just 30 minutes, but I like Jalen Green tonight. I think he's got a shot at a really good fantasy performance. So give me Jalen Green there in the mid-range. Give me Bam kind of at the top end, if you want to call that top end. And then on the bottom end, TJ, let's see. Who do I want to go with on the bottom end that could really help our lineups tonight? Give me I guess I'll go with one of the Miami guys. Give me Drew Smith. I don't feel good about it.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. I'm hitting the lock button on my guy, Drew Smith. The Miami projections are crazy. So for what it's worth, I'm still going to be light on Yakasiunas, but we have him almost projecting for 10x his salary now. So both him and Drew Smith, very much cash game plays.
You know what, TJ? I'm going different, man. Give me Bub Carrington. I don't know. Give me Bub Carrington on the low end. Give me Carrington.
I like it. Throwing out there that you will absolutely, without a doubt, be playing at least four what's the word I'm looking for? Guys in cash games on both sides. So you're going to hit your max of 4 Miami players in cash games on FanDuel, and you're probably playing at least 4 of them on DraftKings as well. Time to take some questions. Let's go over Discord first, YouTube second. YouTube, make sure you hit that like button for us. Jaden Hardy with a little decent projection now. Sharif Cooper with a little decent projection now for Washington as well. I'm going to just put all of these different Washington guards in there, but hit myself with a max 1 so that I'm not playing all of them together. And now finally, I think I'm going to be able to get my build in perfectly. All right, there we go. Let's start taking some questions. DK GPP. You want Devin Booker and Julian Champagny or Jalen Green and De'Aaron Fox?
You said one more time. Devin Booker and Champagny or Jalen Green and De'Aaron Fox?
Yeah.
Oh, Jalen Green, De'Aaron Fox. No question.
Thoughts on Tyree Eason tonight? Don't think that's going to be necessary. Can I play Jaylen Brown and Derek White together with a Fox run back? Yes, I think you absolutely can. You think MPJ is viable in a DK single entry?
Yes.
All right. Let's see. Booker or Edgecombe on DK single entry? I like that. Feels weird to say, but give me Edgecombe.
Yeah. Yep. Edgy.
FanDuel favorite low owned spend up and favorite value.
Low on spend up and favorite value. Low on spend up is probably Cade. Favorite value is probably Bub Carrington. I like him quite a bit with this Washington news. I think this is news that people aren't going to react to as much, TJ. I like it quite a bit.
All right. Let's see. Okay. Must plays in DK Cash. You are looking at Yakasionis as a must play. Bam Adebayo is a must play. Jaime Jaquez, Jalen Johnson, Simone Fontecchio as your must plays for DK. But basically, you're looking at 4 to 5 Miami players in your cash game lineup today. Who do you project to start for Miami with Hero out? We should get the official starting lineup soon, but we are projecting Davion Mitchell, Pelly Larson, Myron Gardner, Jaime Jaquez, and Bam Adebayo. Thoughts on Cedric Coward? He didn't play last night for Memphis. What do you think about Coward as a flyer today?
No. Me no likey.
All right, swapping over to the YouTube chat. Is fading the first game a good idea so we can have time to figure out what's going on?
No.
If it weren't for VJ Edgecombe, I'd say yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the only reason why I said that. But maybe generally speaking, okay, fine. But I don't think Edgecombe is a fade today.
If you are not high on VJ Edgecombe like we are, absolutely you can fade that early game. But we're both really, really wanting to get exposure to Edgecombe, so that's kind of the one player that we are making sure not to fade in that first game. Got about 6 minutes left until lock. Is Rupert still on the team for the Grizzlies? Yes, he is. Personally not getting there, though. Let's see. Sorry, scrolling through a lot of different stuff here. Can I punt with Kevin Huerter today?
I don't like it.
Yeah, Kevin Huerter, not somebody that's going to be in my pool either. Corey Kispert in a DK GPP last piece. What do you think?
I don't like that either.
Black or Drew Smith? What Black would he be referring to? Don't play Leaky Black. He's in the G League.
And if so, it's Drew Smith for sure.
Leaky Black is not playing today. He is in the G League, so don't play him. Let's go back over to Discord here. Hit everything in the YouTube. If you got more questions, make sure you keep getting them in. DK GPP.
Why do we like low minutes Corey Kispert for what it's worth? I'm just wondering. I don't understand. Okay.
I don't have him in my pool at all today. $3,500. I get it. You need a full out punt, but I think there are better options on the table today with those Miami guys. So not somebody that I'd be looking to get to. How much Mamu would you have in 3 max? I'd have him in probably 1 of 3, potentially 2 of 3. How about you?
I don't mind 1.
I guess I haven't actually checked, but his projection has updated to 26.75 on DraftKings, only $4,800. So Mamu definitely a good play for GPPs. Last piece, Pelly Larson or Daniel Gafford. Definitely Pelly Larson. I wouldn't be playing Gafford today. DK GPP, you want Trey Johnson and Fontecchio or Shireman and Myron Gardner?
I go Trey Johnson and Fontecchio in this particular case, just because I do believe that I don't think they're going to spread out these Washington minutes as much. Like, once again, TJ, I don't think these guys get past 30, but I think 28 to 30 minutes with Trey Johnson and Buck Carrington is worth more than Fontecchio minutes, or worth more than, I'm sorry, the guy from Boston. Yeah, Shireman, but that's just me.
All right, let's see. TJ, which of the Heat guys benefits if a blowout occurs? Guys you'd be looking to benefit most, I would say Simone Fontecchio, Drew Smith, Yakasiunas would be the three that benefits the most. I could see Myron Gardner probably still picking up some garbage time minutes, and then Kashad Johnson, but you're not playing him anyways. Going back
Kelly
to
Oubre a bit more than I did earlier. If anybody wants to know, I kind of like him, especially at that price point.
Going back to YouTube chat, thoughts on Mamu at center in a DK single entry? Absolutely, no problem with that at all. If you're playing Edgecombe, would you rather fade Wemby or Jalen Johnson?
You said if you're playing Wemby or Edgecombe, would you rather fade?
If you're playing Edgecombe, if you're paying
Wemby
up for
or Jalen
Edgecombe,
Johnson, would you rather fade Wemby or Jalen Johnson?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Wemby for me, man. That sounds scary, but it's Wemby. I like this matchup for Johnson against Dallas.
Concaniple, Hawkes, or Grimes. That is Jaime Hawkes for me. This is tough. BJ Edgecombe or Derek White. I love both of them.
Edgecombe.
It's Bam and Kispert or Kada and Portis. Ooh, Bam and Kispert, but definitely not Kada Portis. But awesome. I don't love Kispert, but Bam Kispert certainly the option I'd go with. Is Tatum in play at 8K for FanDuel tournaments? I'm personally not getting Tatum, but I don't think it's crazy to play him.
Yeah, not for me.
Who is your favorite center on FanDuel if you are playing Bam at power forward?
Oh man, if it comes down to it, probably Wemby, but can you do it? Wemby's expensive.
If you do need somebody else on FanDuel, you can't spend all the way up for Wemby when you're already playing Bam.
Probably Okongwu at 7,500, honestly.
I like Okongwu, and I like Iguodaro as well. He's another guy that I'm a fan of today.
Johnson, not Giannis.
Yeah, Jalen Johnson or Giannis, definitely Jalen Johnson. On FanDuel, I can only pick one of Drew Smith or Yakasiunas. Should I follow projections and go with Yakasiunas?
No.
In cash, absolutely. In cash, go with Yakasiunas. The projection is just too much higher. In tournaments, I'm rolling out Drew Smith. Chief and I both like Drew Smith better. He's going to be lower owned of the two of them. I definitely think Drew Smith is the guy that I am rolling with today. That'll hit it for all the questions with about 30 seconds remaining until lock. Great work, everybody. Been trying to stay a little bit longer on these shows after lock lately, but we do have a PGA show coming up right away immediately. And I'm also going to talk about season 2, episode 5 of Paradise immediately over on the Agents of Fandom channel right now. So we got to get the heck out of here. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. On behalf of myself, Chief, and Steve doing an incredible job, as always, behind the scenes. We will see you next time. Peace.